it doesn't really falter. Like, I feel like it goes from beginning to end really strong. I finished the review and I'm still going back and playing it. Like I normally kind of just move on. But yeah, like there is something really, really cool about it. It just pulls you in.
Hello and welcome to the Press Start podcast, Press Start Australia's weekly video game discussion podcast. I'm your host, Ewan, joined today by my fellow gamers and co-hosts, Shannon.
Hello.
And James.
Hello.
Today we're going to be discussing James's review of Kingdom Come Deliverance II, another live service game shutting down and a much-loved Xbox franchise coming to the PS5. But first, Shannon, did you encounter any issues playing Spider-Man 2 on your PC? I saw you posting some videos giving it a blast. I've heard lots of issues. Did you have any yourself?
A few little like frame rate hitches and stuff, but for the most part, fairly decent. I feel like all PC games, but particularly PlayStation games, have issues day one. I wouldn't say it was perfect, but good enough.
Yeah. It's odd, isn't it? How like this game works perfectly fine on a PS5. In fact, it looks fantastic. But then the second it comes to PC, it seems to have all these issues. But I guess it's a different beast to wrangle. Are you gonna stick it out and replay it again? Do you think, or you got too much?
Nah, I don't think so. I played like an hour. I'll go back to it when I'm testing hardware and stuff. But no, I don't think I have a great desire to play through it. Again, I'm still waiting up for that Venom game or whatever else they're doing.
And Wolverine. Hopefully we see that sometime soon. There were some rumors kicking about this week of a PlayStation State of Play next week, which I didn't put down on the agenda for today, but I hope that's the case. And I hope we get... I don't know when we're going to hear about a release date for Wolverine. It's probably Ghost of Tsushima we're more likely to hear about first, I guess. Sorry, Yote. But yeah, hopefully Wolverine's not too far away. Anyhow, let's crack on with the rest of the show. James, you played and reviewed Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I'm eager to hear your thoughts based on the previews. You were sounding pretty positive on it, but what were your final thoughts on the game?
It's actually pretty much the same. It keeps...
Oh, nice.
Which is like good, because some of the previews like, yeah, like the first 10 hours good, but it could be shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just kept the momentum up. I never got bored. I didn't get to do every quest.
I don't think anyone's going to hold that against you.
But yeah. But yeah, there is a lot in there, and it was more of a time thing. I just wanted to kind of start, and it was it's one of those games where the side quests were really good, and I just kept doing them. And you just had to be like, okay, cool. Like I actually have to play the story now, and then you realize that the main quest is just so much better than the side quests, and the side quests are already quite good. So, yeah, really good overall.
Nice.
I really enjoyed it. So yeah, and like especially high praise, I think, coming from me, because I didn't really like the first game as much. I don't know, like maybe people will be able to compare it a little bit more in depth than me when it's out, and there's those 8-hour YouTube videos of people dissecting it. But there's something about the realism in this one. It's still realistic, and it still has that kind of like dedication to being realistic, but it still feels like it kind of eases you in better, which I said in my preview as well, right? So it still is tough,
that,
but
like the main difference that the systems are like more realized and feel funner than the first game.
Yeah, like I don't want to say them better realized, because I feel like they had a good idea of it back then. It just doesn't give you... I feel like... I'm trying to think of a shit analogy. Like, kind of like, imagine you're like riding a bike, right? And
with one wheel.
Yeah, no, like you've got your training wheels on. The first game takes them off you like straight away, and you're like, oh fuck, what do I do? But like this game gives you and it's not even that much, but like I would say a solid 2 hours of just like kind of easing you into it, like worrying about your thirst and hunger, and
just before we started recording, I thought to play it. For context, Shannon and I had played the first hour of it together, which you'll see very soon in a little video that we've done, which is exciting. But I didn't get any hands-on. I was eager to jump on and give it a blast myself, and I played a little bit beyond where we got to in that video, where you're kind of in the throes of that, and you're like waking up injured in a house, you've lost all your skills and XP and whatever, and it's like, make sure you eat from this food bowl before you go, and you'll find a bunch of bread outside. And I don't know, it felt like it gave you a lot of the stuff you were going to need from the onset, which immediately put me at ease. Felt like it was
Yeah.
pretty generous in that regard.
And that's the other thing as well. The save system is manual. I say that though, but it saves just before each battle now, which I think some people might be mad about, but I'm not, because the battle system is quite.
I'm not
hard
mad in the slightest to that.
Yeah, because like it is the kind of game where if you do go off doing side stuff for ages and you forget to save and then say you die, like you do lose that progress, and that can be frustrating. But with how often. Like I could find a bed to sleep in, or like make a save-ish nap, which is the drink you have to drink to save. Yeah, like between all of the options and stuff, that you can have a lot of, I guess, options to save, right? But the other frustration I had with the first game was it was so fucking buggy. So I would often play 30 to 40 minutes, and then the game would freeze, and then I would lose that 40 minutes. And it was like, cool, like I admire the idea of this, like, you know, your choices matter, so, you know, we're not going to save the game so you can save scum, etc. But when your game just keeps fucking crashing, it sucked. So but this doesn't happen here. This game is like a huge level of polish above the original, which makes sense, right? The first one was like a Kickstarter. This is like a full sequel with full publisher funding. So yeah.
Still, given the scale of the game and the size of the team, that's a pretty impressive accomplishment, right?
Yes, correct. And I probably just quickly talk about, I guess, the stuff that we couldn't speak about in the preview, which is the second area. So this game, the first area feels like its own game. Like that's enough for me. Like I could see you two playing till the end of the quest line in the first map and being happy and just dropping it there. Like that's, you know, but if you're somebody who wants to finish it, like the second map, like when it opens up, it's almost unfathomable. Like that there is a whole second map with like just as much quests. And the story really ramps up, and the political like intrigue of it all is really cool. But the big thing in the second map is like, I think it's Kuttenberg, which is one of the biggest cities in that region, especially at the time. And it's got hundreds of NPCs in it. And they're all, you know, they've all got their own, you know, routines, and they've all got their own little quests. There's like heaps of shops, like I'd say 20 to 30 shops. Like it feels like a sprawling metropolis, like if that you can call it that far back. But yeah, so, and then obviously the outskirts of that city is also the second map. So, and that's just cool. It's just a different side of the same experience, right? Like it's not just the countryside now. Like it feels like a really built up city.
It almost sounds like a Red Dead, like going to Mexico kind of moment.
Yeah,
sounds like it's got that sort of.
It like I said, it doesn't really falter. Like I feel like it goes from beginning to end really strong. You know, I finished the review and I'm still going back and playing it. Like I normally kind of just move on. But yeah, like there is something really, really cool about it. It just pulls you in. And I think for a game to do that, for someone like me who doesn't really care about history, but also with nothing like magic at all, I think is really cool. But
yeah, I'm eager to dive in and play more of it. The thing that I'm like I have been struggling with the combat a little bit off the get-go, even
Me too.
if it is a bit more forgiving. I think the mistake I'm making is like the icon that you've got on the screen, which is like the 4 directions that you can swing your sword. I keep making the mistake of looking at that thinking that's where the enemy is positioning their weapon rather than actually looking at the enemy on screen. I find myself kind of watching that icon too much, but I'm sure that's
definitely like a you issue. But
but you can saying that, James.
But you do get a lot more skills in that department too to counter.
Okay.
And, so like, and that is where it gets better. Like the combat is definitely it's really hard to get started with it, but as you fight more, you naturally level up more, and that just makes it so much more bearable, I guess. So I think, and there's different weapons too. Like I didn't know if you knew that or not with what you guys played. So
we did get a taste of that. Shannon, I think, had expressed a preference for the mace kind of early on. I liked how the kind of character
blunt and
creation
heavy
and picking stuff. Yeah,
it's me.
That's Shannon through and through.
But going back to just quickly when I was saying there's like no magic, there are still really cool quests. My favorite quests in the game are where like you're sent to say investigate. Like people have seen like a demon coming out of a mine or something, and the game is really good at kind of making you doubt that maybe there is something in this world like that, which was like what it was like at the time, right? Like so much superstition and stuff around that kind of shit. So like there's a lot of pagan elements in some of the story as well. So I think like it does a really good job of it's not just what you would expect from like it's not just like plain medieval. Like I feel like it really has a lot of really cool, interesting perspectives and stories from that time, from angles that you haven't really considered before. So yeah, really good. I really liked it.
Did you find yourself using the ranged weapons much? Because I think the crossbow is new to this one, right? Did that have much of an appeal?
It's really hard to use it in the midst of combat. So I did use it a lot for hunting. Really easy for hunting animals and stuff.
Right.
You also get a gun, but it's obviously it's very like clunky. Like it's very slow.
Like one of the ones that takes like 2 minutes.
You have to manually load it and then like light the top, wait for the fuse. You know, it's not really useful in battle. But yeah, they are a cool addition. The crossbow is probably my favorite, but it's not like a shooter, right? Like you still have to aim and think about trajectory and stuff. So it's not. It's not an arcadey experience. I didn't use them as much with people. Only if I was sneaking. Like if I was sneaking and I just wanted to kill someone or like, you know, I would do it that way.
I feel like this game's kind of coming out at a good time as well. Like I've kind of been hankering for something to play. As I said on the podcast, I've been going back and kind of dabbling in a bit of Black Myth Wukong. But yeah, I was glad I could get this installed tonight and dabble in it a little bit. Excited to play some more. Can you see yourself jumping in to play some more, Shannon, or have you already? I don't know. We haven't spoken about it.
I haven't. I was just going to say I don't know if I can be bothered doing it again, but it was on my console, wasn't it? So I would.
It was, yeah. It's your save.
I mean, I liked it. I did like how it really put you into the action first and foremost, and I had a fun time with it. I think because I was like forced to sit there and play it without any distractions, that definitely helped. So if you want to come and sit with me, you would
hold you accountable and just chat to you through the game.
But I liked it. I do think, again, I don't really know what the entire experience is, but from what I know, I think it might be very system heavy for me and my little brain. But I don't know. Also, I get the sense you can kind of just do whatever, right? And it's a fun time.
I think it was pretty I mean, based on what I've experienced so far, it felt pretty self-explanatory. It's like, okay, I'm bleeding, bandage myself up.
Yeah, like it's kind of like basic, not. I'm not gonna say basic knowledge. Not everyone knows how to treat a wound, but like stuff like, you know, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat an apple, and it's like, oh shit, that didn't fill me up, so I'm gonna eat some nuts. I don't like.
And granted, I've only done the intro bit where it's very much kind of laying the path out for you, but it felt like, okay, I feel like I'm just going to stumble across enough stuff in this world that if I take the opportunity to just kind of scour around a little bit, I'm going to have enough resources.
And it's kind of and if you're like, I need metal, like you can either go find it where you think you would find it in nature, or you can go to a blacksmith and steal it, and it will probably be there because he's a blacksmith, right? Like it's kind of like, it's very common sense kind of driven design, which I think is really cool. But
even some of the dialogue choices early on, I felt like the usual kind of gamey thing was like, oh, I can probably get away with this. The game just like slapped me back straight away. And you know, Shannon, how like that's the tutorial and you kind of spar afterwards. I lost that fight, and at the time when we were recording that video,
think it was possible.
I didn't think you could lose the fight. No, I thought the game was just being very kind to you. Turns out you can lose it, and I lost it.
Every quest is like that. You kind of win or lose it, and that may have some ramifications, might not. Like, so
I did like the characters as well. Like where we finished off in the hour-long playthrough that we had, like did leave me wanting to know more.
I was going to ask you about Mutt the dog. Yeah. I was going to ask you about that, James. How did you find like the humor of the game and the characters and storytelling? I think that caught Shannon and I's early on as well.
Yeah, good. I think I have seen some chatter, like people think it's a bit like they're like blokey blokes, but they're also like knights from that time era. So to me is what it should be like if they were talking like, I don't know. I'm trying to think like Dragon Age Veilguard characters. Like, I don't know if that would be the vibe, you know, for this game. So I think it is funny. I think there's a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff. There's one character in particular, like if you just keep trying to flirt with her, she's always like no. And then like you just keep trying. There's always these options to try and woo her, and then she was like, just give up already. Like it's not going to happen. She's like one of my favorite characters in the game. She's really good. Her name's Catherine. She's on the box. So just in case anyone wants to know. But
wielding the crossbow in the background, is that
yeah, yeah, that's her. Yeah, she's a cool girl. She's a medieval Ada Wong, so that's all I need. So yeah, but yeah, no, like honestly, like the humor is really solid. I think they did a really good job of kind of there's a lot of like kind of wink, wink, nudge, nudge to like that you as a modern player would know. Do you know what I mean? Like it's quite clever. I do feel it's clever.
Yeah,
and like even just some things. There's some cool things like. Because obviously Henry hasn't seen a lot of the things in this world at this time period, and comments on them in his jokes. And it I don't know, it's hard to explain without spoiling stuff, but it is good. I think it is very good. Because I thought Henry was quite flat in the first game as well. So he really comes into his own here, and his relationship with Hans, because they obviously met in the first game too, is really interesting. Yeah, really good, really good. I think Henry's funny. He's like funny in like he's an oafish guy, but like he's funny because that's what makes him funny. But it's not like dumb oafish. He's just like, you know. But your Henry,
think that's thrown me a little bit at the start. So like a couple of dialogue choices I made, I was like, oh, that was a bit of like a clumsy handling of that situation. It's like not really how I meant to say that, but it's obviously just kind of his character.
But like I was gonna say, like your Henry though can be different. Like my Henry is like really well read, so he's like quite suave with when he tries to talk people into things.
Okay.
You know, like even just like trying to get past guards or like trying to like flirt with girls. Like he kind of succeeds in everything with speaking. But you can just make a really dumb Henry who doesn't know anything, and then
so what you're saying, James, is your Henry gets all the girls.
No,
you know exactly what to say.
No, I don't know. The game knows for me. But yeah, do you know, like, because I read a lot of books in this game too. So like a lot of quests where say you might need medical knowledge, it's like, well, you've read a lot of books, you're well read, so you know the information already. Whereas if you didn't know that information, you might have to go and find it from a nearby, you know, doctor or whatever. So it's just those little details, I think, that do a really good job of like making your character feel, even though Henry is a character with his own, you know, motivations and goals, he's kind of still your own type of Henry, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So it sounds like it rewards you for like leaning into the more kind of simmy nature of the game as well, right?
Yeah.
And immersing yourself in it. So yeah, no, it's really cool. I'm eager to play some more, and like I was saying earlier, I feel like it's going to come out at a good time. It's a bit of a quieter patch. So yeah, hope I get
even like if you guys are worried about playing for too long, like even if you just play like 10 side quests, all of those are really good stories, like in and of themselves. Like they might not have anything to do with the main storyline, especially like obviously the one that I think everyone should do is the Mutt storyline to find your dog. Like that's really important. Ooh. Like it's optional.
Okay, that's you've already caught my eye.
It's the only thing I want to do, really.
Yeah. Yeah, just find the dog and turn it off. Yeah,
and that's an unanswered thread from our playthrough, Shannon. So we should get to that. Alrighty, well, thanks, James. I will report back once I spend some more time with it. Late now I go. I can see it kind of becoming the kind of game I go back to throughout the year, just given how lengthy I didn't actually ask you that. How long is the game? How long do you think a playthrough takes, if you were to guess?
It really depends. Like, I reckon you could easily get 90 hours out of this, but I reckon if you just did the main quests with a few side quests, like 30 to 50, I reckon. Yeah. But it's really warped to me because I've played it across, like, a month, and normally I play games much quicker.
And you've really been wading in deep to the side quests.
Yeah, like like I kind of had to just like kind of, you know, like lock in and do the main.
It sounds like how I played The Witcher initially. It was just like did all of these like random side quests, really just like followed my nose. And I loved my time with that game, so that's a very positive thing. Cool. All right. Well, I will report back, James. But for now, let's crack on with some more news. Multiversus is shutting down. It's another live service game on the chopping block. WB Games announced that it will shut down May 30th, but you will be able to play the game offline for the foreseeable future, although the game itself has been delisted from stores already, I believe. Shannon, it's another live service game winding up, obviously. Does this one surprise or disappoint you in any particular way?
It definitely disappoints me. Like, James and I both had a lot of fun with the beta, or the early access, whatever
Both.
happened.
We had all periods.
Well,
of its
yeah, we've had
lifetime.
fun with
Did
it
you play
every
the game
time.
when it actually released, or?
Yeah.
We did. I just can't remember if it's released twice or it was just an earlier. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I think this was the official release.
There was two periods.
Wasn't
Yeah, but we played
Okay.
both periods.
it? Yeah.
I guess
Anyway,
this
it was
is the
pretty
quickest
obvious,
one, right? Like it was shut down once before. This is
yeah,
its
and it
second
was
time.
pretty obvious coming back that like I think there are a lot of things that were worse about it when it came back, and B, it like very clearly had even a smaller week one playthrough, and then that obviously dropped off even quicker than the first time around. So it was maybe should have just gone the way of Concord and not come back, as sad as that is, because it's probably more damage has been done this second time around now, I think.
I think,
rough.
I think there was always a sour taste in people's mouths because obviously I feel like it launched and it wasn't very clear that it was a beta, right? Like, and then it went offline. It's like, thanks for participating in the beta, but it's like, but that wasn't a beta, and you were selling.
I thought
like,
that was
Founders
just
Pack.
marketing spin, honestly.
Yeah, and then it came back, and I guess people were like, yeah, it's back now. So then people are spending. It's always tough because people do spend money on this stuff, and it's like, are they entitled to refunds or like what? Do you know what I mean? Like, I think the Founders Pack, especially. I think if you bought that, you don't even have all of the characters enough. Like, so you got tokens for the Founders Pack or something, and you don't even get enough tokens to. No, you didn't. There's not enough characters.
There's not been enough
to use all your tokens. Like it's all. They have definitely pulled the plug prematurely.
Yeah, that's poor form. I feel like there's been games in the past where they've kind of announced that they're going to wrap it up, but they still stick around to deliver all the content that they promised. It's eluding me what game did that recently.
Or you have to at least refund or something. Like, I think that we've spoken before on the podcast, or at least James and I had, like, this game had some stuff working against it in terms of, like, I think all the Lord of the Rings characters they couldn't put in the game. So some of the Harry Potter stuff, I don't know why that was scrapped, if it was just because of... I don't know why that would have been scrapped, but it never really came to fruition what they had planned for it. So, yeah, a lot of... I think everything was done in good faith, but yeah, the second that this has happened again, for the people that did pay, you can't have them be left out of pocket when they were your biggest supporters, surely, but I feel like they're going to be left high and dry.
Yeah. Where do you think this leaves WB, James? Because obviously this and Suicide Squad kind of both gone by the wayside. It wasn't long. I think they were kind of looking for someone to buy out their games division. Does this kind of heighten the need for that, or is there a chance they could turn it around sometime soon?
You've just made me realize just quickly, like, why didn't they put Mortal Kombat in it? Like, you could have put Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Well, that was
like,
rumored, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the leaks were crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I do like worry. But then obviously Mortal Kombat, Ed Boon announced like a few weeks ago that it was in the top 10 played PlayStation games for the last 3 months or whatever. So like I feel
like Hogwarts Legacy did well as well,
and Hogwarts did well. So I feel like they still have. I wouldn't be surprised if they lent more into those brands a bit more. Because MK1 has sold less than 11, but obviously COVID plays a part in that. Like the inflated numbers help. It just yeah. I don't know. I worry, because I feel like this puts more pressure on, say, like the Hogwarts team and the Mortal Kombat team to kind of deliver more shit, and usually that unfortunately comes through as like $30 skins or like something ridiculous, right? Like these kind of quick fix money makers. But yeah, like I hope maybe it's good for Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat as brands, but I don't know.
I forgot about Quidditch Champions as well.
Well, that would have. I feel like that has bombed, right? Like I don't know. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
right?
I was thinking of that.
It's kind of like the Crash effect, I feel, as well, where like that trilogy obviously came out and it was really exciting because no one had had anything like that before. It was a nostalgic brand and no one had anything like that for ages. And now that people have had their fix of Hogwarts, it's like, okay, I don't really care anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know if. But then obviously Quidditch is different as well, so maybe I don't know, but. Mortal Kombat's interesting too because I feel like it's lasted the test, right? Like, I feel like it's been around since fucking 1990 something.
I feel like they still would have expected it to do better, right? From what we know.
For like, what MK1 or
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think so.
Which everything is underperforming. So like that's not really a testament to like the game or whatever
Fair
else.
point.
But
No, yeah,
I don't think it's
I don't
done
think-
well enough to make up for losses elsewhere.
You just look at the discounting patterns and stuff. They've definitely discounted this one more than they did 11, and much more quicker as well. And the deal, I think, but what really hurt it maybe is the DLC for the second season was like $80, and that's a lot of money for a year 2 pack of DLC, right? I think it was great, but like I'm not a normal person, right? Like, I feel like yeah. And then even the
Die-hard
guests,
fan.
and that's the thing as well. The guest character, like Conan, like I don't know who's checking for Conan in anything. That's obviously I think an Ed Boon pick because he's old, but great character though. I used him last week, but yeah, I don't know. It's I think it's fine. I don't think they're gonna sell personally. I think they're gonna try and see how MK goes, especially with the movie coming out. Maybe I don't know. They might be waiting for an injection from that for Mortal Kombat. And Harry Potter.
I think if they could find people to do like keep working on Legacy, do a Legacy 2. If they could kind of return to like the Rocksteady sort of era Batman trilogy, that kind of style of game, that would be the way to go as well. I'd love for them to kind of find form again with the Lord of the Rings properties too. Like your
I think Lord of the
Shadow
Rings
of
is
Mordor
Amazon
sort of
now,
S
though.
game. Oh, really? Do they not still?
Nah, I'm pretty
Have
sure
a
they have
publishing?
nothing to do with that now. I think it's all Amazon,
Yeah.
which is the problem with Multiversus. Like they had that content
Right.
lined up, and then Amazon bought it. That's the thing. But the next big game now, like for WB, I think is Wonder Woman, which is the Middle Earth team. And like I just don't see that being. I mean, I don't know. We haven't seen anything from it, but I just don't see that lighting the charts on fire. Like as a brand,
no,
I think
I
the
agree.
the last movie was shit. It's taken a break, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But then I just think if Batman can't sell, like what hope does Wonder Woman have? Like I know that sounds like horrible to say, but it's true, right?
We know what gamers
They've made some bad decisions, like having Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad, and like not continuing with Batman when it was like the biggest superhero game, like of all time
Before Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah, when it came out, like it pioneered that genre. Like it to then just ditch that and then make like 2 adjacent games that weren't Batman games is just very bizarre to me.
Yeah, they kind of need to return to their strong suits as well. I'm holding out hope for the Wonder Woman game. I think that could be interesting.
I think mechanically it'll be great and I'll love it, but like I just know it won't sell. Like which is all the games I love don't seem to do very well. So like with a wider audience.
I wonder when we will see that. I'm curious.
In saying that, Hogwarts was like the best-selling game of last year, right? So like, yeah, I don't feel like they are.
2 years ago.
Yeah, was it 2 years ago or last? It was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
I'm just like reminding myself of like the hundreds of millions that were riding off the back of Suicide Squad, and I think Multiversus. I think they attributed some of it to that too. And yeah, like they're major losses. Like you gotta think on Suicide Squad, right? They took an absolute beating when they
It's
released
like
that
hundreds
game.
of million. Like I didn't even say it was like 200 million. I think of a loss.
Yeah.
Massive.
They should just do like a Wicked sing-along game, and I feel like that'll just get them the money because that's WB. That'll get them the money they need, right?
It's not a bad shout.
Have that ready for part 2, like
Or a
just a
Hogwarts
shitty-
Legacy Wicked integration. Just
and just fly around as the
Cynthia Ariana in the game.
Forza Horizon 5 is coming to PlayStation. It's been rumored for a very long time, but now officially confirmed the game is releasing in autumn for PS5 with over 900 cars, 40 game updates, and two expansions. So this is the one set in Mexico, if you recall, which I don't know if I played much Forza Horizon 5, I think, when it came out. I played a lot of 3 and 4, but I don't think I played much of 5, so keen to kind of jump in and give this one a blast. Shannon, are you excited to dive back into Forza Horizon?
I think so. Like I played quite a bit of it at launch, but like I never went back with the 2 expansions they dropped. So I'm glad it's coming to PS5. I feel like it was one of those games that, well, it's been one of like Xbox's main good franchises, like that doesn't miss. And it makes sense to bring it to PlayStation 5 and Switch 2, I'm assuming, as well. So
I think it absolutely does. Like PlayStation's kind of lacking a good arcade racer, I think. Like, this has really been kind of a strong, what's the word? It's a real strength to like Xbox's catalog, I think, the Horizon games. And like next to Halo, they were the games I bought for my Xbox. Because I just loved what they did, and it was kind of like reminded me of the kind of, you know, Burnout paradise when they weren't making Burnout games anymore. So yeah, I'm super excited that PlayStation owners get to experience this now, and so they should.
I think it'll do really well.
People give it a go. What about yourself, James? Are you excited to see this make the jump over? Do you think it makes much strategic sense for Xbox? They should pick up a fair few sales of this, you'd have thought, right?
You asked me the question, so let me answer it.
I asked you about 3.
Yeah. I'm just queuing them up in my brain. But yeah, I personally couldn't care less. But I think this is a type of game that is missing from the PlayStation library. I obviously for motorsport, that not so much. But Horizon,
PlayStation's got Gran Turismo.
Yeah, like but Horizon is I think the Crew is probably the closest you get, but a lot of people who are really into this kind of thing would tell you it's not the same. Just it's on a different level. So yeah, I think it's great for Xbox money wise. I think I said this two episodes ago, where I think it'll be a good year for Xbox in terms of income, but in terms it does.
I think this plays well into their strategies. You're right. Sorry to cut you off there, James. But like, if they put out Forza Horizon 5, surely 6 isn't too far away, and I can't imagine that coming to PlayStation day and date. So maybe it just like helps. You reckon?
I think this is it now. Like, it's just
everything's just coming everywhere all at once.
Yeah, it's YOLO Swag City for Xbox on PlayStation.
I think if it doesn't, it's like a resourcing thing. Like it's not a we don't 100%. Want to put it there thing.
Because Playground has 2 teams, like a Fable team and a Forza team, apparently. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's been in the works for ages. And I'm sure they have a pipeline now to port all their shit to PS5. So. Or they also just like resourcing is a thing, sure, but they also have a support like this. This was done by Panic Button, I think, who are I'm pretty sure maybe Australian, if I'm remembering right. Like so they could just get them to work on that now too. Like they could have these smaller kind of satellite studios working on ports at the same time. So but
I think I saw some news as well just the last couple of days that Indiana Jones had 4 million players or people play it, which I guess is kind of a bit of a difficult metric to work around. Yeah. Were they all sharing Game Pass logins?
No, it's not even
how
that.
much money
it's
did you make
you just play up until... I think if you look at the actual achievement data, like no one has eaten a cornetto, and that's like you do that in like at the beginning. You can pick it up off the desk in Italy. Like it's hard to get... Yeah, but I mean, if 4 million people have played it, isn't that successful?
Yeah,
I guess, right?
Again, I think that's another one that when it comes to PlayStation, it's going to probably sell 4 million units on PlayStation. So I think it'll be fine.
But will it? Like, is the brand like? I feel like I would never personally. Oh no, I would buy it because it's Machine Games. But like, I feel like the average person wouldn't spend $110 on. I don't know, maybe.
Well, they're not buying.
I feel like what did Astrobot? Like Astrobot didn't do those sort of numbers, and that had all of this positive press around it and pretty broad appeal.
But I think Astrobot doesn't.
It's a different game.
It's a different look, right? And I feel like people are just drawn in. Like I feel like a lot, and I'm not saying this is like the right way to think, but a lot of people are like, oh, it looks like cartoonish and kiddie. I don't like. Why would they give a cartoon Game of the Year like shit like that, like awful
similar things to why they might choose not to play Wonder Woman, I guess.
I'm interested to see how. I think Starfield would be a better choice if we were going to be talking about like games that really move units on PlayStation when they don't on Xbox. But yeah, we'll see.
How far? I'm going back to the rumors that there's a state of play happening next week. Maybe this is just kind of a rumor from a known leaker. How long do you think it is before Xbox show up at a PlayStation event and announce a game coming to the platform?
Next week.
You reckon that could happen that soon?
No, I don't think so.
It just doesn't feel real. I don't feel like we're I know we're getting to that point, but it just
I don't think PlayStation would let them. To be honest.
Yeah, but also like, what's the point, right? Like, you need to have something for your developer direct that you have every 4 months. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So it's
In
interesting
saying that though, like they were at the Game Awards and like Indiana coming to PlayStation was like their big thing. So I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, but that wasn't a Sony event, right? Like,
Yeah, true.
like
Yeah.
that's.
I don't think it'll be at Sony.
No, I don't think so. I think No, I don't. I don't think.
It's going to be interesting when that day comes. I'm sure it will eventually.
It's not going to happen.
But there's going to be a day where like an Xbox property is like announced to come to PlayStation.
Yeah,
during a
but that's what
PlayStation
Forza
thing,
is.
Like
right?
Halo
what do you
or
mean?
Gears, I could see
like,
it,
it's-
maybe.
Was
I think
Forza
you're both
Horizon 5
correct.
coming to PlayStation? Was that a PlayStation blog post?
No.
It
I don't
wasn't.
know.
It came from
It wasn't
Forza
even
Horizon.
that.
Who tweeted it?
But,
They've been
that
at
day's gonna come.
directs, so I think it's possible
Hmm.
that we would see Gears at a state of play or something. Again, I think it'd be on PlayStation allowing it, not Xbox not wanting it to be there. So I don't know.
I just.
This is becoming a bigger can of worms than I intended.
It's also
to
like
open.
who-
why-
I don't know. I feel like
Why
this
don't
is
you
getting-
think that Xbox would want to be that? If they went to PlayStation and said, "Oh, we want to announce Gears Collection and Halo Infinite," or just let's say Halo Infinite, like, can we show it at this? Do you think Xbox wouldn't want that? Why? I don't know why they wouldn't want that.
Because
If
then
they're
they would have
becoming,
nothing
like,
for
more
their
of a
own shows.
But we're talking about like Halo. Are you asking you in like a new game announcement or like a Halo
what-
Infinite?
No,
What's-
I'm
what's-
talking about like a re-release, like this kind of style of announcement. It's like, hey, this game that's existed on an Xbox console for 2 years is now coming to PlayStation. Like, I think if there comes a point in time where that sort of announcement happens as part of like a PlayStation
Next
state of
week.
play or conference or a blog
The whole
post or
state of
something
play is just
PlayStation
going to be
owned.
Xbox games coming to
Yeah.
PlayStation.
Maybe it's when was Sea of Thieves announced for PlayStation?
Was just in like that
stretching
weird
a memory.
thing. Remember where the 4 games
Yeah.
were coming?
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't think there's any thing set in stone for any of this for Xbox. If I'm being honest, like I think they're very much making it up as they go and seeing what works and what doesn't.
I do feel like there's a lot of gut feel going on. It's like, are we ready to port this game over? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
That one can go. What's the sales graph looking like? Oh, like this? Yeah, put it over on PlayStation. Speaking of PlayStation, though, they've removed the
show.
retro PS5 themes, but have said that they're aiming to bring them back long term, whilst confirming they have no concrete plans to do any other themes, much to my disappointment. Shannon, do you think these themes come back this year?
Yeah,
You reckon? Oof,
there's
I
11 months left in the year.
I don't think we see these themes like until the next anniversary. James?
Really? No.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why. Like, just fucking put them up. Like, I don't get it. Like, they're there. Like, what's this
I don't
we're
get it
working
either.
on? Like, just I don't. I've never. And same with Nintendo. All of them actually. Like, just let people have themes. Like, I just don't.
You
Where
know
is
what
the
I think it
joy?
is?
Where
I
is the
think it's
joy in
like-
games now, Ewan? If we can't even have themes. Like,
I think what it is, if I'm honest, is like Mark Cerny or I don't know, some like software architect or whatever going, no, this is the design that we have come up with for the PlayStation and we're sticking to it like through and through. Yeah, I don't know. They could have done all sorts of like funky sort of things, the side panels and customizations and stuff like that, and they haven't. I guess there's been a few different colors of panels and stuff, but I think they had a pretty clear like design direction with the PS5, and I think the software carries through to that, and they're just like sticking with it.
I think the intro.
I
needed
just
to go
don't
back
think
to
it's that
normal.
serious,
Like anyone that
personally.
wanted the PS1 intro to stay there, I'm sure they're feeling different after a month with it now because it's annoying as hell. Like, just put it back.
All right, let's play What the Wiki, the Pressed Up podcast game show where the previous week's winner is part of a Wikipedia page for an unknown game, and we, the contestants, must guess the game. A point is awarded for each correct guess, with the round concluding after someone scored themselves 2 points. If you clean sweep, you get 3 points, which is what your boy Ewan did last week, leapfrogging James and taking first place. He's only a point behind, though, and 3 points. Brody's on 2, and Shannon yet to enter the scoring. So you'll be pleased to hear this week I've targeted my games at you buddy old pal, because I want to keep James
because I
at bay.
wasn't even listening to what you were saying until I heard my
And I'll still win because he doesn't even try.
Yeah, literally.
I'm trying.
When I was talking about
Can I
a game,
listen or can I not?
a game with masks, and what was his answer last week? It was so bad. It was
I'm
like
gonna let you in behind the scenes a little bit behind these
Can you
games,
just
right?
mute
So
James?
I've tried, I've tried to pick games that are in Shannon's wheelhouse. Maybe I'm saying too much. Maybe I don't want to reveal this. It's a difficult act, a balancing act though. Behind like finding games that Shannon's gonna know that James
knows
might
fucking everything.
know.
There's no way.
Like
to
I'm
even...
trying to like access the deep little pockets of Shannon's mind that even James like isn't living.
the problem
rent-free
is
in.
the pockets aren't that deep.
No.
You can see them
They're
poking out.
pocketless.
Whatever's in the pockets. All right, let's see how this goes. Game number 1. The game is a 2004 party video game developed and published by Sony Computer Entertainment for the PlayStation 2. It is a spin-off from the core series and the final installment in the series to be released by Ubisoft in North America. Shannon?
Rayman, Raving Rabbids. I don't.
It's not. No, although I know why you thought that. I'll carry on. It was never released in Europe, despite being advertised in the United Kingdom and Australia. Now, we had a comment on YouTube last week saying I'm a bit too lenient in like allowing people to come back into the voting, but that is the end of the paragraph, so it's now open to the two of you again.
This week isn't the time to tip. I've got no
the
idea.
next paragraph. Spike, Natalie, Cassie, and the professor join the high-tech tournament of virtual worlds.
Shannon.
Helga, Shannon.
No, Ape Academy 2.
Nope. Helga, the previous champion, is on an important mission to find the disc based on her father's research hidden in the trophy. Unlike other games in the series, this game is more of a party game, similar to Mario Party and Sonic Shuffle. The game consists of a series of competitive mini-games using various vehicles and gadgets from previous games, such as battling underwater using submersibles, racing on foot, and collecting the most coins. The story mode is broken up into different tournaments with 3 to 4 players, where 1 to 2 players must finish at least one place to first place to pass.
No.
That's the end of the paragraph. So Shannon, you can re-enter if you want.
I don't know what it is. Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Did you say Ubi? Okay.
To be released by Ubisoft in North America, but remember, it was never released in Europe, despite being advertised both here and the UK.
How is that going to help him?
I'm throwing him every bone I can.
I'm from here.
This was the
You've
this
thrown
was
a whole
the roll.
skeleton.
This was
Nothing's
the dice. This was.
Do you have any idea, James?
Oh, I don't like him sitting smoking.
What
like
year?
that.
What year?
I'm not.
2002. You said.
2004. Party video game. I have one more paragraph. The game received mixed or average reviews according to the review aggregation website Metacritic. Reviewers pointed that its high qualities lie in its visuals and sound effects and on its game mechanics, but it lacks replayability and overall appeal. In Japan, Famitsu gave it a better score of all 4 sevens for a total of 28 out of 40.
I'm just going to get... Is it like Ape Escape Party?
It's not Ape Escape Party. No.
Shannon.
Ape
Academy.
It's not Ape Academy.
What?
No. Maybe both of you don't know this game. In which case, I'm underprepared for.
Yeah.
There's not really been much info though.
And Ubisoft.
I've just read 3 paragraphs.
And they're all paragraphs.
Give us platforms.
He's already said
PlayStation 2.
PS2.
Okay.
Okay, so we've narrowed down that it's Ape Escape. It's a party game. I'll give you another clue. It's one word and another word, and both of those words start with the letter P.
Pardon?
I was hoping maybe that. I thought, damn it, Shannon, I thought you were going to know this.
I need more.
It was like the Ape Escape game that you were deprived of, that you never got to play. Only came out in the US and Japan. Maybe you've never heard of it. Maybe you didn't know it existed. Were you aware there was an Ape Escape party game?
Well, Ape Academy 1 and 2 would have been a better place to start. I know what it is, but I don't know the name of it. It's a dancing. I think it's a dancing game, isn't it?
It's not. No, it was a party game of mini games.
I'm gonna need to play it now.
I think I'm gonna have to tell you then. I don't know if either of you have this.
Is it like Primate Panic?
No. Good P words though. They're very relevant. No, I'm going to give you the title. It's Ape Escape Pumped and Primed.
I'm not pumped and primed after that.
No.
All right, Shannon. Well, I'm counting on you to get the next two games then, because otherwise I'm going to have to find a third game for the tiebreaker.
Yeah, wow. I've never... I don't know what this is. There you go. Anyway, continue.
Game number 2. Gameplay was first shown at E3 2008. The game features more puzzle solving and platforming than previous games in the series, and introduces new features, such as the ability to pick things up with the OmniWrench Millennium 12. There are also sections where the game's hero must pick up creatures called heliogrubs in order to light up a dark area. The OmniWrench Millennium 12 also has a tether ability, Shannon. He's going early. I like it.
Ratchet and Clank, all for one?
No, afraid not. The OmniWrench Millennium 12 also has a tether ability, which can be used to manipulate objects and move obstacles. The Combustor Fusion Grenade, Nano Swarmers, Predator Launcher, Tornado Launcher, Shock Ravager, and Alpha Disruptor take the return for tools of destruction.
Can you shut up? No, wait. What was the year?
2008. It was shown at E3 2008.
Can I just try?
Yeah,
Shannon.
at the end of the paragraph. So, we'll have James first, then Shannon.
Ratchet and Clank. Quest for Booty.
It is. It is Quest for Booty. Well done, James. God
Suck shit, Shannon.
Okay, here we go. Game number 3. The game received generally favorable reviews, according to the review aggregation website Metacritic. Game Trailers praised the presentation and gameplay, and also awarded the game their best PSP game of 2009. GamePro reviewer Heather Barton praised the game's cover mechanics for invading enemy fire and the game's well-placed checkpoints and level designs.
No, that wasn't on PSP. Ignore me. Continue.
Okay. Barton wrote the game would appeal to both casual and experienced gamers, although she disliked the repetitiveness near the end and that most of the game's elements were left unchanged from the previous titles. The game is a 2009 third-person shooter video game developed by Ben Studio and published by James.
Is it Siphon Filter Logan's Shadow?
It's not, I'm afraid, James. The game is a 2009 third-person shooter game developed by Ben Studio and published by Sony Computer Entertainment for the PlayStation Portable. It is a spin-off from the main series, set between the events of the first 2 games, and the first to not be developed by Insomniac Games. Sony has discontinued... Shannon?
Resistance Retribution.
It is Resistance Retribution.
Third person.
Well
Did
done,
you say
Shannon.
Third or first person?
I said third.
He said third.
Is it third person?
I don't think...
Third person. 2009 third person shooter game.
No, it's a
kind of over the shoulder cover shooter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you're right.
Very
Very dynamic.
I've not prepped another game here, so I'm gonna have to very quickly find a tiebreaker because I thought someone would have gotten the first one, but here we are. Just give me a real quick sec here. All right. Okay.
Take your time. Choose
no,
wisely.
this is a bad idea. Yeah, I immediately picked something that was probably
Resident Evil
not
2.
gonna work. All right. Here we go. Here's a game. Where do I start? All right, here we go. The game is a 3D platformer in which the player controls the titular character, a small robot using the DualSense controller.
Shannon.
Shannon.
Astrobot.
It's not Astrobot. No. Like in its predecessor, he is able to jump, hover, punch enemies and objects, and use a spin attack by charging his punch. Shannon's gone. The haptic feedback of the controller is used to provide realistic tactile vibrations from actions, such as walking in different types of...
Shannon!
I don't think you're back.
I'm sorry. Such as walking in different types of material, like sand, walking through rainfall, and walking against the wind.
James.
The game... James.
Is it Astro's Playroom?
It is Astro's Playroom, James. Well done.
You dogged me, and that was
He did the opposite of dogging you. He gave you the biggest fucking bone, and you didn't take it.
small bone.
The whole skeleton, as James said earlier.
Yeah. He's not even listening now. See? Like,
No, I'm not. I'm
Look,
over
it could have been
Move
worse.
on.
James could have clean sweeped,
I
and
got
we
a
prevented
point.
that.
Exactly right.
So
we did.
you're on
That's
the
all we ever
scoreboard.
want.
Not too bad. So James has reclaimed first position. He's on 5 points. I'm on 4. Brody on 2. Shannon on 1. That's how the scores netted out there. But with that, let's bring an end to what was this week's episode of the Press Start podcast. We've got to stop recording on 37-degree days. I'm sweating up an absolute storm here. I'm relieved my pits are just out of the bottom of shot because I'm convinced you'd see patches. Anyhow, subscribe to us on Listener or the podcast service of your choice. Follow us at press.au and visit the site at press.com.au. We've been joined today by James.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at JamesATJMZ.
And also joining us today, it was Shannon.
You can follow me at Shannon Rixty.
And I've been your host, Ewan. You can follow me on socials at Ewan_Roxburgh. We'll be back next week. But until next time, happy gaming.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.